One of the greats in the business, John Cooper, joins us here on Halftime for a chat of college football and really on one of his players, former players, Luke Fickell, too. John Cooper, former coach at Tulsa, Arizona State, and Ohio State, now on Halftime with us. Coach Cooper, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much. How are you today?
Oh, thanks for having me. Good to talk to you guys.
Absolutely. One of your friends was able to get you on as a guest today. Clay Henry's with us now too. We've been able to get connected
Coach.
with Clay. Yeah.
How you doing, Clay?
I'm doing great, Coach. Yep. Goes back to
Good.
1978 when I was a Cub reporter at the Tulsa World. Coach Cooper treated me great.
Yeah, and you've kept in touch with.
Well, you guys were good to me. I spent 8 years at Tulsa, and I tell people, Clay, I was as happy coaching there as I have been any place I coached.
Well, would that count?
Guys were good to me.
Would that count Ohio State too? Was you were happier at Tulsa? What made you happier at Tulsa when you compared to the other two spots that you were a head coach?
Well, I was also the athletic director, and in that league we were in, we had better players than probably anybody in the league. And I tell people I'm really proud of the fact when we were at Tulsa on the road now, not at home. We beat Texas Tech down in Lubbock. We beat University of Florida in Gainesville. We beat Virginia Tech over in Blacksburg. I think we beat Kansas and Kansas State on the road. We had good football teams. I had some of the best players that I coached. Ken Lacey, for example, could have played on any team I had here at Ohio State. We had good players and we had good coaches, and the people were good to me. And I had 8 good years there. People don't know. I actually turned down the Miami, Florida job the night before Jimmy took it the next morning when I coached at Tulsa. Really? I turned down Kansas, a couple of Iowa State. Those are Louisville, I think, Memphis State. I turned down quite a few jobs when I coached there at Tulsa because I liked it. And the other thing I really liked about Tulsa is my son John played for me. When I came to Ohio State, I don't want to take all your time, but when I came to Ohio State, I was a little disappointed in the talent we had. We had one player drafted my first year, and I said, to heck with this, we got to expand the recruiting base, and we started going out-of-state recruiting, and I told people that I recruited the mom or grandma, and I used to tell them, you let your son come and play for me, I'll make you one promise. I'll treat him exactly like I treated my son. The next thing you know, we're getting good out-of-state players, and believe it or not, right now on Ohio State's football roster, there's over about 120 players on the roster. 69 of them are from out of state, so they're going nationwide recruiting and getting players that can run. And if you want speed, which all these teams do, you got to go south because they're outdoors about 80% of the time, and they all can run. So. That's a little bit. That's one reason that I told you I like. I like it here at Ohio State too. Don't get me wrong. I spent 13 years here and had some great teams and some great players. My players when I was here, I think won about every award you can win in college football. The Heisman Trophy and the Butkus and Blitnikoff, Thorpe, and all those awards that you can. We had really good players. It's amazing how much better coach you are when you get good players.
Coach, that kind of transitions what you won Big Ten titles in 93, 96, 98. Some of those players, Eddie George, Orlando Pace, and Luke Fickell, the Cincinnati coach. And you told me that what's going on at Cincinnati might go back to when you made that decision to really move your recruiting in Ohio State out of state, that Luke kind of, he's taking those Ohio players, really good players, right?
You're exactly right, and he's coaching them really, really good. He's a good football coach, and I don't know if I told you when he played for me here at Ohio State, he started 51 straight games. He had that record for a long time until college teams like Ohio State started playing 12, 13 games a year. His record has been broken, but he started 51 straight games, and in high school, he was a 4-time undefeated state wrestling champion. He's a very, very good athlete, and doing one heck of a job coaching the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Coach, you told us about some of your successes, 5 Valley championships at Tulsa, but there were trips from Tulsa to Fayetteville that didn't go so well. So what would you tell Luke Fickell about playing in Razorback Stadium?
I'm glad you asked me that question. I brag a little bit, Clay. I spoke at a little fundraising they had here last week, raising money for this NIL deal, and I told them that I'm almost positive that I took a team into more stadiums than anybody that's ever coached college football. I figured up I'd taken a team into over 90 stadiums around the country. And the loudest stadium I've ever taken a team is the University of Washington. But I'm going to tell you right now, Fayetteville is a tough place to play. And a real quick story, we used to spend Friday night in Tulsa and get up the next morning and eat and get on a bus and bus over to Fayetteville and play them tough every year, it seemed like, and we never beat them.
A lot of 3-point games.
Yeah, and Coach Holtz, I got great respect for Lou Holtz, one of the all-time great football coaches. But, of course, he can really talk. You'd meet him in midfield after the game, and he'd start telling me what a great job I did with my players. My players were well coached, and they were tough, and they did this and they did that. I want to say the hell with that. You guys won the game, you know. But yeah. I got even with him in '95. They brought Notre Dame into here to play us in Columbus. We beat them in '95 and '96, and I couldn't wait to meet him in midfield and tell him what a great job he did that day. You know? But got great respect for him. But Fayetteville, Arkansas is one of the 10 toughest places to play, I think, in the country. I really do, particularly when they got a good team like they got right now. Those fans can make a lot of noise over there, and there's not a hell of a lot to do except root for the Arkansas Razorbacks, and they do it. They do it.
Well, I mean, I don't expect you to do any handicapping, but based on your experiences there, how would you think the game would go Saturday? Two top 25 teams with good players, with good coaches. Yeah, I started to say two top 20, two really solid college football teams. I don't know that much about the talent that Arkansas's got, but I know they had a great season last year, and I know they're well coached. And I can say the same thing about Cincinnati. So I think the team that makes the fewest mistakes is going to win that game. I would give a slight edge to Arkansas, but simply because it's played there in Fayetteville. But I'm telling you, Luke Fickell is a heck of a good football coach, and he's got better players than most people realize, as he did last year. I saw his team play several games last year. I love their quarterback. Now, he's gone. Of course, a lot of those defensive players are gone. His defensive coordinator left as the head coach at Notre Dame now, as you got to know. But Luke's team will be well coached. They're going to play hard. They're going to be really sound on defense, and I think you got to beat them. I don't think they're going to make a lot of mistakes, but I think I can say the same thing about from what little I know about Arkansas right now. I know last year they were last year they beat had some good wins last year, and they're well coached, and I think it's going to take a good team to beat them this year. Neither team's going to turn it over much, and you know
team that makes the fewest mistakes will win the game.
Coach Cooper, can you it sounds like you still live in Columbus. Can you tell me what it's like to be the head coach for Ohio State football? Because that's one of the you're to pick of the litter jobs. That's one of the pick of the litter jobs across the country, but it comes with expectations. It comes with I would imagine pressure. I don't know if you felt that from the outside, but what is it like to be the Ohio State head coach?
Well, it was when I took this job. I'm going to be honest with you. If I'd have come here and looked the facilities over and found out the talent level that we had here, guys, I wouldn't have come. I would not have taken this job. We had better players at Arizona State. When Arizona State, we used to get all the good players from California, and we had better players on that team than we did when I first came here. Now, that's why we started recruiting out of state. Now you got to get your in-state players, but I don't care anybody. Now look at Alabama or Georgia or Clemson or Ohio State. They got good in-state players. You don't overlook anybody in-state. You got to go out-of-state recruiting too. And I don't think there's any question that Arkansas now, I'm sure you're getting a lot of good players out of Texas like you used to. Texas football is down. If you're asking me to rate, I think Southern Cal is the best coaching job in football. I'd put Texas number 2. I might put Ohio State 3. When I was here, though, our coaching, we lost good assistant football coaches to other assistant jobs. One went to Florida. Ron Zook went to Florida. Larry Coker went to Miami, Florida, because they weren't paying them. We were the 8th lowest paid coaching staff in the Big Ten Conference when I came here. Now, it's not that way now. As you know, we just hired your defensive coordinator from Oklahoma State for $1.9 million. You know, so we got good facilities now. They're going to build new ones here in the next couple of years for football. Great stadium to play in. Good high school football. 11 million people live in the state up here, and of course Ohio State is right in the middle. We don't have pro football interfering with us. The Bengals and Browns are of course down on the southern border, and the Browns are way up north of here. So we're right in the middle of the state. A lot of tradition, but you walk down the hallway over to Ohio State football building, and you got a big picture of Woody Hayes. You got Earl Bruce. You got John Cooper. You got Jim Trussell. You got Urban Meyer. And I jokingly tell people, you know what all those coaches have in common? We all have in common. We all coach at Ohio State. We're all in the College Football Hall of Fame, and we all got fired. You can't win enough games. You can't please everybody. You know that. But it's a great place to coach because you got great players. And Ohio State this year, guys, I want to tell you, offensively, it's the best-looking college football team I think I've ever seen. And offensively, we got 3 quarterbacks that can play. Two of them, I think, are one from Philadelphia, one's from California, and one's from Arizona. So we got 3 out of state. We got 3 quarterbacks that can play anywhere in the country. We had 3 running backs. One of them got hurt, but we got 2 running backs that can play on anybody's team. And we got 5 or 6 wide receivers. We had 2 drafted last year, 10th and 11th in the first round. And they're not going to miss those guys at all. I'm telling you, they got some coming back that might be as good or better. So they got really, really, really good skilled people. And Ryan Day is a quarterback coach. And last year we led the country in scoring and averaging, and passing. And our quarterback was a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. And I think he's favored right now to win the Heisman this year. I think C.J. Stroud. But anyway, you got good players, and it's a great place to coach. Now you ain't going to win them all. I mean, there's some other good teams, and when I was in the mid '90s, I mean, Michigan was really good. They had some great coaches and great players, and as you know, my record against Michigan was not very good, but we had a good record against most of the other teams in the league. So it's a great place to coach. And my daughter lives next door here. My son lives a mile away, and my whole family's right here in Columbus, and I've been here now for 30 years.
We appreciate you hopping on with us and talking about former player Luke Fickell and thoughts on Cincinnati and what it's like to play at Arkansas. And we hope you enjoy the football season, Coach Cooper. Thank you so much for your time.
I definitely will enjoy it. I watch every game I can on TV. I'm looking forward to seeing the Arkansas and Cincinnati, and obviously I'll be pulling for my friend and a great player for me, Luke Fickell. Mike Vrabel also played for me, coached the Tennessee Titans. He also played. He played on the same team with Luke Fickell. Guys, thanks for having me.
Coach, it's good to hear your voice.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. Bet online, where the game starts.